Welcome back. It's another episode of the Ultima RS build on V8 Creative. I'm Nigel, sit tight, let's start spannering. Firstly, apologies to you all. It's been pretty much 3 weeks since my last upload, and I've got a very good reason. I've got a good excuse. I've just started a new job. Yeah, life gets in the way sometimes, but anyway, I'm back on the horse again, and my aim is to share a video with you on a Friday night every other week. So for part 11 this week, what I'm focusing on is the air conditioning and heater unit. Yep. You heard it right, this car needs air conditioning, and I'll tell you why. Well, there are no opening windows. Well, you can fit what's called helicopter vents, and I'll show a picture just there. And what they do is put in a little bit of air inside. But to be honest, this gets rather toasty. And that's even in an English summer. So if you're building it in Australia and America, you definitely have to tick that box. Now, what I'm going to be showing you is how to put the bracketry that's supplied by Ultima, laser cut again, of course, pre-drilled, how that's attached to the chassis and how that unit is mounted and the pipes run down the side of the car. So without further ado, let's just start spannering. There you go. Beautiful bit of kit that. Clearly off a production car. And there you go. It's just like Lego, isn't it, really? Wow, probably a bit more demanding, but if I built the Millennium Falcon with 7,300 odd components, I'm sure I can do that. This is what happens when you work too late and get very tired. I've drilled that hole in the wrong place, but never mind. It's going to be covered by the air conditioning unit anyway. So what I've done is I've measured this distance to this distance to this, the chassis member, to ensure that is perfectly square. So all I've got to do now is really drill another hole. Now let's just see if this is perfectly square. It moved very slightly, I saw that. Right. So this is 26.9 millimeters and this is 26.9 millimeters. Perfection. Now the next process is marking where these chassis tubes are on the reverse of this panel and then drilling equally spaced holes for rivets. Yeah, more rivets. And once that's done, what we'll do is we'll place the air conditioning unit in this cradle, so to speak. Also vents and air conditioning controls on this bracket. Now the air conditioning feed comes from this side, and there are 2 pipes that will thread their way through the luggage containers, which haven't fitted yet, and also go to the back of the car where the compressor is situated. And on the other side, we have the feed and return to the heater part of the air conditioning unit, and that's part of the cooling system. Now, those 2 pipes go through the passenger luggage cell, and also within there we have the mechanical switch that cuts that hot water on and off. And the control for that actually sits underneath here, which I will show you later. As you can see here, this is where I've marked off the chassis members. Now, when I was doing this, I was ensuring that the pen I was using was absolutely vertical, because since we're doing this on round tube, it's very easy to tilt the pen. So let's get the ruler, find the center line. Center punch. Now I need my drill. And while it's on my mind, it's another good reason to use masking tape rather than trying to drill through just this protective coating, because the masking tape grips onto the drill bit slightly and stops it skidding. Now for the deburr. So this is the moment of truth to see if how accurate I've been with my drilling. So no going back now. Okay, so I need to drill all those holes in the chassis. Come on, Henry. Now, this is the big reveal. How accurate was my measuring? If it's perfect, these holes would be on the crest of these chassis tubes. Let's see. Well, I must say, I'm pretty pleased with that. There we go. Henry. Now I've opened up the chassis again, I need to use trusted wax seal in the holes. Squirt, squirt, squirt. I do sound very Wiltshire. And then a little clean off with brake cleaner. To keep everything nice and clean. All this to keep cool and hot. But there we go. All right, I need a cup of tea now. I'll be back in a minute. Bye. Now we've drilled the holes to mount the main bracket to the chassis. The next thing we have to do is populate the control panel. So let's first of all remove this panel. It'll just make it easier to move it around. It makes life so much easier when everything is laser cut when you receive it. I mean, drilling these big holes out is a bit of a pain. It can be done, but it takes a while. So let's put this to one side and remove the protective coating. Now you'll see on the previous shot I've put 45-degree chamfers on both of these air vents, and you'll see why I've done this in a minute when I connect this to the air conditioning unit. Next, even though these clip very tightly into this aluminium base, what Ultima do is provide holes to allow you to also rivet these into the aluminium shroud. So I am going to just check the holes line up, and if not, just whiz a drill through just to make sure. Perfect. So with my trusty rivet gun, let me put these perfect. Next, what we need to do is actually put the controls for the air conditioning here. And another bag to unwrap. Pete the pen knife. God, that is sharp. So what do we have in here? So these are the two controls. So this is fan speed, and here is air conditioning temp. Here we go. And so fan speed, and then this will be air conditioning temperature. put those pipes over there, and in here we have the control panel, which sits here, actually this way, and what that actually does is show which is air and which is temp. Firstly, apologies for the road noise. My creative director needed to go out to relieve himself, so the garage door is open. So apologies for that. But what you just saw me do then is pop rivet the air conditioning bracket onto the chassis and then mounting the air conditioning unit in its bracket. As you can see, it's quite a meaty unit. Here is the inlet and outlet for the heater, and here is the inlet and outlet for the air conditioning. As you'll see, there's 4 outlets. 2 go basically to these outlets, and then the other 2 go off and split. 2 go to the windscreens and 2 go to dashboard mounted vents. So what I've got to do next is attach this permanently to this bracket, and then also put some convoluted tubing to connect these vents to these outlets. And as you can see, this is why this 45-degree angle was needed to allow for that sharp radius. And there we go. Aircon installed and heater. And I tell you what, having that cold air flowing over my face as I'm pulling 1.5 G away from the lights, that's just going to be a feeling I'm going to savour. And poor old Roofy, he'll be there strapped in the 6-point harnesses, just trying to hold on with his claws on my Alcantara seats. But anyway, next week I'm focusing on luggage bins. Yep, it doesn't sound particularly exciting, but I tell you what, luggage space is important, especially when you have to go and collect dog food or beer or things like that. And interestingly, these luggage containers I've calculated should take 2.25 Rufuses each, but we will try that out next week and see if I can get him in there and how much he fills up. And just on a parting note, Ultima have just released an amazing video. It is a real watch. It's an hour long, and what it does is it goes through the entire history of the brand, and it is astonishing. There are things in that video that I never even knew, and I've been following this brand for well over 20 years. So I've put the link down in the description below, so go over there and have a look, and you'll understand the real pedigree and engineering behind this amazing brand. And on that note, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Happy spanning.